Hello everyone, welcome back to Lab for Crypto. Today we're going to have a discussion about Ethereum. Ethereum is an asset that lately is not performing very well against Bitcoin and many layer ones, but with the upcoming approval of a spot Ethereum ETF by the SEC, maybe we can see the same gains that we saw with Bitcoin. Therefore, I have prepared some graphs that we are going to have a look together and in the end decide if it's worth it to accumulate some Ethereum, if there is a potential, or just stick with Bitcoin and layer ones. Of course, nothing in this video is a financial advice. We are going together to see the graphs and make educated decisions. Before I go to the graphs, I want to thank everybody about their support. Our channel managed to go to 30,000 subscribers in less than 50 days. So because we wanted to give back something to you, you can use the thank you 30K code on the checkout and you will get a 30 days free premium access to our platform, which you can have more than 600 graphs and models that you can explore, and also access to our private Telegram channel and group, which we discuss in depth many aspects of the crypto industry and also receive alerts about potential trades that we believe you can use to optimize your portfolio performance. But of course, always is our opinion using the maths that we see in the platform. And therefore, we hope that you will be able to get the free 30 days, as only the first 300 accounts will be able to have this free access. And good luck. Let's have a look at the table of the issuers of the spot Ethereum ETF. And the most important date is the 23rd of May 2024. And the reason that I'm saying that is due to the final deadline of the VanEck Ethereum ETF. As SEC does not want to give advantage to an issuer, usually they approve all ETFs together and then let the market decide which ETF is best for them. Therefore, as James, which is the lead analyst in Bloomberg, which he covered really well the spot Bitcoin ETF along with Eric, he also states that May 23rd is the most important date that we should expect an approval of a spot Ethereum ETF from the SEC. And therefore, as we approach this date, the market will start to speculate if the approval is imminent or not. The Bloomberg analysts predict between 60 to 70% chance of an approval. And for me, because usually BlackRock has a really good approval rate, and they also applied for a spot Ethereum ETF. It's worth to look the data and see if it's a good time to accumulate some Ethereum or not, based of course on the data. Note that I always try to be as objective as possible throughout my analysis. That is why you will find links to the data that I have used throughout this video, so you can do your own research. And second, I wanted to disclose that I own some ETH. Although I didn't have any before this video, as Ethereum had a poor performance compared to Bitcoin, in my opinion, and therefore was an unnecessary risk. Because of the data that I saw and the potential approval of the spot ETF, I decided to allocate some of my capital to Ethereum, and I will explain in a bit. But I could be totally wrong, so always do your own research and do not believe anything that someone is telling you, and check the data, and I will give you the tools as well. First, I'm going to start with the total Ethereum staked, then I will go to the inflation of Ethereum, then I will go to the upgrade, the current upgrade of Ethereum, the token, which basically it's important for Ethereum and the future of Ethereum, the developer activity, which always is growing. And then I will check the charts of the price action of Ethereum compare it with Bitcoin and other layer ones, and see what is good and what is bad with the performance of Ethereum. So let's start with the total Ethereum stake and the total number of Ethereum that is staked compared to the circulating supply. The total number of Ethereum that is staked is at 29.8 million ETH. And if we compare it with the circulating supply of Ethereum today, which is at 120.1 million, if we divide the two values, we get 25% roughly. That means that 25% of the circulating supply of Ethereum is staked. Why that is important? These people that are staking their Ethereum, they are not intending to sell it in due course. That means a selling pressure is removed from the Ethereum ecosystem. For smaller accounts, which they stake less than 32 ETH, which is the requirement, through Light or whatever, they can have a liquid Ethereum ETH which they can sell, but it's another story. In general, when you have Ethereum that is staked and this number is constantly increasing, it's good news because people are locking their Ethereum to earn yield, of course, but they are not intending to sell it in due course. So I'm going to move now to the next graph, which is the Ethereum inflation. Ethereum had a recent update which made it deflationary if there is enough activity in the ecosystem. And when you have countries to have a debt which is unsustainable, like the US, it's really important to find these assets which they can hold well their value in that case. And I'm not suggesting that Ethereum will do it, but at least the tokenomics say that there is a possibility, and we are going to check that now. And if you want to check about the USA debt, I will have two links in the description below, which is a video from the chair of the Federal Reserve, which basically admitted publicly that the US debt is unsustainable. And second, there is a projection, a model that we have made here in Lab for Crypto, which we project the exact debt of the US in 2030, 2040, 2050, and I will have the model in the description below. Through the past couple of years, Ethereum had a lot of updates. The most major one was their transition from proof of work to proof of stake. Also, when they did that, they introduced the burning factor, let's say, on Ethereum. When there is enough demand in the Ethereum ecosystem, actually that leads to more Ethereum burned. So if we see values, if we see the numbers, on August 2021, the inflation rate of Ethereum was 2.9. In August 2022 was 4.25. So immediately that means there was not a lot of activity in the Ethereum ecosystem, and therefore not a lot of Ethereum was burned. But you can see on May 2023, the inflation rate was minus 1.4%. And currently we are at 0.01. That means Ethereum is deflationary. And as more people using this network, less Ethereum are going to be available. If we compare it with Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a preset inflation rate, and you can see these steps when there is the halving event. Currently, the inflation rate of Bitcoin is at 1.7%, and as we saw before, Ethereum is at 0.01. As a result, when the US or other countries start to print money to inject liquidity into the system, that means owning assets that are deflationary or they are scarce and their inflation is low. That means your portfolio is going to perform better, mathematically at least. But as I said, Ethereum needs to have a constant number of active users and a usage to have this deflationary effect. So let's have a look on the activity of the Ethereum and see if it's growing or in what stage it is now. Let's have a look on the active addresses of Ethereum. When we check the number of active addresses, especially for Ethereum, it's important to add to the tokenomics. For all assets, in my opinion, it's important because you see the growth and the health of the blockchain. But for Ethereum, it's a bit more important because when you have an increased number of active users, Ethereum becomes deflationary, which means that more Ethereum is burned. Therefore, Ethereum becomes more scarce and the price of ETH is expected to go up. On the other hand, when you have low activity in the Ethereum ecosystem, that means the Ethereum inflation is increased. And the reason that is increased is to give more Ethereum to validators, which before was miners, as they have to compensate for their expenses for running the validators and before, as I said, miners, because they have to pay their bills. And using this tokenomic trick, Ethereum is adjusted based on the activity. Now that we explain why it's important to see the active addresses, and in short is embedded in the inflation, you can monitor the inflation and this number is reflected there. But when you see the active addresses, you can project where the active addresses are going and know beforehand if the inflation is going to be positive or negative for Ethereum. Now let's move to the next part. As I mentioned before, Ethereum had a major upgrade recently. And this upgrade included 9 Ethereum improvement proposals in it. I will have a link in the description below for people that they want to read more about it. But also I will have a link from Coin Bureau, which he did an amazing job summarizing what this upgrade means for Ethereum. But in short, it's some improvements to validators. There is an option now to discard some data from blocks. Now self-destructs smart contracts can have some conditions that they will initiate this self-destruct. There is some inbuilt oracles to the blocks. But as I said, my point is that Ethereum is upgrading the protocol constantly. And as you can see from the developer activity, and if we go to Ethereum, we can see how consistent the Ethereum developer team is. They always pushing more than 300 commits per day, roughly. And that is really important for a project which is constantly upgrading. And now, as the bull market is approaching, they continually try to improve the protocol and receive all this demand that is expected to be on Ethereum blockchain. Now let's move to the next part. The next part is to check if the Ethereum price is above the bull market support band. And if we click Ethereum and hide the 2 longer time frames, we can see the Ethereum price, which is the blue line, it's well above the bull market support band of ETH, which is the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. That is good news because as we approach the Bitcoin halving, which is in April, and then in May, the market starting to more heavily speculate about the Ethereum spot ETF approval, and the price of ETH it's above the bull market support band. That means these 2 lines are not acting as a resistance to the Ethereum price, but as a support. And also note that these 2 lines is going upwards. Therefore, in short, the 21-week SMA and the 21-week EMA are currently acting as a support for Ethereum and not as a resistance. And for the market, it's important to know that an asset it's above this level when they decide to allocate any of their capital. Moving next, I would like to go to the Ethereum fair value and see if it's currently undervalued or overvalued. If we check the fair value for Ethereum, we can see that currently is undervalued because the price, the blue line, it's below the red line, which is the fair value fit. How we made this model, you will find it in YouTube, in our YouTube channel, and you can click the video explanation below the model, and also you can find it in the information section in our platform. But for the purposes of this video, I wanted to know that Ethereum currently at least is undervalued. And it's important also to monitor this level, as between January the 10th and January the 16th, this line acted as a perfect resistance for Ethereum. Therefore, especially now that we are a bit undervalued, the chances to breach it and go above it with this bullish news coming is increased, in my opinion. But of course, because the market is dynamic, you need to always monitor these levels and do not take something as granted. Moving next also is the price vs risk model, which is something that we have also in our platform. This is our unique model that you cannot find anywhere else. Is our hybrid model that takes also the on-chain data and the off-chain to make daily calculations of the risk of an asset. And the current risk of Ethereum, in our opinion, is low. And you can monitor this data daily, and they update also daily. As you know, the crypto market is really unpredictable, and you can have a jump from a risk of 3%, 2% to 76 or 80. Therefore, now that I made my decision, the risk was in a good level. After we check all these graphs, and of course we can check even more, but this video was not going to end. Therefore, I'm going to the bad stuff for Ethereum. What actually made me to not allocate a big amount of my capital to Ethereum, just a small amount, as in my opinion is not that strong yet. My main concerns for Ethereum are two. First, it's the poor performance that it has lately compared to Bitcoin and other layer ones. And let's have a look on the graphs. As you can see, Bitcoin since September 2022 is outperforming Ethereum. One Bitcoin could get you 12.2 ETH in September the 10th, but now it can get you 18.9 Ethereum. That means Ethereum is losing its value compared to Bitcoin. And if we compare Solana with Ethereum, we can see that Solana is outperforming Ethereum as well. So one Sol could get you 0.009 ETH in June the 13th, 2023, but now it can get you 0.043 Ethereum. And just in short, when you see this line going up, means that the first asset is outperforming the second. But when you see this line going down, that means the second asset is outperforming the first one. I'm just saying that for simplicity. And as always, you can find a video explanation below the model. If we go to Andres's balances and check what the whales are doing on Ethereum, we can see that wallets that they own more than 100 Ethereum, they are constantly offloading ETH. And the number from December 2022, 49.7k wallets had more than 100 Ethereum, but now 45.5k, let's say, own more than 100 Ethereum. And the same, it's observed on the holders that they own more than 1000 ETH. This is the number of wallets. So someone can have two wallets that has 1,000 ETH, but you get the idea. This number is constantly decreasing. Therefore, maybe they start to lose their confidence in the ecosystem and they move some of their assets to Solana or other assets that lately outperform ETH, like Cardano lately. But you get the idea. These two concerns is something that pushed me to not allocate a really big amount, let's say, on ETH, but just a smaller one. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, you can check a lot of models in the platform, as we have more than 65 and more than 700 graphs. But it's the ones that helped me took my recent decision. But always you need to do your own research. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, as that will boost the algorithm to show it to more people. And leave a comment with any data that you think that I should check and reevaluate my decision, or also make a video about it and discuss that with you. Until next time, bye-bye.